Hey YouTube, welcome back to another video here at Truckin Live. Today's going to be a little bit of a different video, guys. You guys saw those YouTubers in the front of the video or whatever, and we're going to kind of get into each one of them or whatever. So I've kind of been a little bit at a standstill. You know what I mean? I've been trying to grow the YouTube channel. They all know how hard YouTube can be at some point, you know. And so I've been trying to do things a little bit different or whatever. I mean, I do mainly vlogs of my trucking life out here on the road. I do repairs and stuff like that. I do the occasional reaction, but I would probably say that 90% of my content is mainly just my journey, right? It's not really reactive on any other channels. And unless I see like a news story or whatever that affects trucking, I might say something about that. I did a little bit of Bonehead Truckers and a little bit of Mother Trucker, but I would probably say the gist of it has probably been, as you guys know, just trucking. So I was watching Steve's live a couple of weeks ago or whatever, and I had sent him a message through the chat or whatever, and this is what he had to say.
I know who you are, Trucking Life. I hear about you enough. I'm not going to say bad things about you, but I know who you know, and we'll leave it at that. But I got no beef with you. I just know who you know, and that, it is what it is. But anyway, Trucking Life says, hey, Steve, been watching you a while. I'm a YouTuber. I create similar content, working in trucks, vlogs, would appreciate some feedback. Check me out and can use help to get out there in YouTube land.
So the person that Steve was referring to of I know who you know, right, is pretty much Tommy from Trucking Unfiltered, right? From my knowledge, I don't even think Tommy ever even made a video of FSC. My only assumption can be that maybe it was because he was making videos of his friend Tim Gentry, right? But from my knowledge, that's already been kind of squashed. They've already talked it out or whatnot, behind closed doors and publicly, right? When Tommy made that video when he was in Rooster there, right? So I don't really know if there's any beef between both of you guys or whatnot, but what I found interesting is I did find this post up here, and I'll go ahead and put it up on the screen right now, and it pretty much just reads, Tim Gentry put, I think Tommy is finally ready to move up to the heavy haul side. He's really been killing it lately. Then FSC responded, truth is Tommy has one hell of a positive story to tell on YouTube. He just has to recognize it, and honestly, I hope he does. So, I mean, from that message alone right there, I mean, it kind of seems like he's okay with them. So you guys can basically see right there in that clip, I pretty much was, asking him for his feedback, right? Asking him for maybe some help to be able to get out there in the YouTube land or whatever, right? And the thing that kind of bothered me, is sometimes with YouTube, you as a viewer, you don't really know who the content creator is, right? You only see what you put out there on the internet for everybody else to see, right? So I kind of felt like if Steve judged me all of a sudden, right? Just because I know Truckin Unfiltered, because that's exactly who he was talking about, right? So let me give you the backstory of Truckin Unfiltered, right? So I started the YouTube channel about 2 years ago, and right around maybe third or fourth month, I started watching Tommy's video, just as a viewer or whatever. I was trying to learn YouTube or whatever. And initially when I contacted Truckin Unfiltered, right, I had emailed them or whatever, and it's hard to get in contact with a bigger YouTube channel when you're small, and I think at this point right now Tommy had like 1,000 or whatever. So I just I mainly contacted him just for some advice, right, on how to be able to maybe grow the channel or whatever, or edits, or like all the YouTube stuff that you as a viewer don't see behind the scenes, right? Tags, descriptions, thumbnails, editing. Like there's so much that goes into YouTube, right? And out of all the people that I had emailed, he was the only one who answered, right? So we got to talking or whatever, and we became friends. I've never met him before. I've probably been talking to him like almost 2 years or whatever. And what I can kind of tell you guys without giving out any information is like there is so much more to the story with Tommy that the internet doesn't know about. Like Elite reacts to him, Fact Checking reacts to him, and maybe these other guys, you know, he's done reaction videos with them. Now, just because I know the guy doesn't necessarily mean that I agree with every single thing that he does, right? Like, you could be friends with somebody and you could agree to disagree on certain topics, right? And still remain friends, right? I do things very differently. Now, I did start doing reaction videos, you know, following Tommy's advice or whatever, because I figured I was trying to get out there in the YouTube world, right? And, you know, unfortunately with YouTube, guys, drama sells, right? But here's the big but. Here's the thing where I do very, very differently from the way Tommy does it. And we've had these discussions before on videos that he's made or whatnot, right? I keep my reaction content, guys, clean. I don't talk about anybody's family. I don't insult the person. I keep it about just trucking. That's it. You don't believe me? Go check out my reaction playlist right there. And you guys can see that I keep it clean. And it's not always something negative, right? If somebody does something right or whatever, like I'll do a reaction content. Reaction content is very, very difficult. Because everybody always associates it with hate. You know what I mean? Like, well, you hate that person. It's no different of a broadcaster that does in the sports world. One guy that I can think of from the top of my head right now is Skip Bayless. I love watching Skip Bayless when he does the Dallas Cowboys, because he's a die-hard Cowboy fan, right? And whenever something goes wrong, he gives his 2 cents on the internet, right? And he reacts to whatever's going on in the game, and then he gives his 2 cents about it, right? Does that necessarily mean that he hates them? No, right? Like, I have no beef with any of these guys, with Trucking Unfiltered, Just Trucking, Gentry Sons, and who else am I forgetting? FSC Trucking, right? But I kind of felt in that video that just because I know Tommy, it's kind of like a no-no. Like, I was expecting maybe an answer, you know, not expecting, right? I guess you could kind of say maybe hoping that, hey, this guy will go and check out my channel, see what it's about, and then maybe say, well, you know what, he's worth, you know, maybe giving a shout out to, or not, right? But he just blatantly just judged me. Just because I know who you know, you're no good. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, honestly, I don't really care or whatever, right? Like, it's all good and groovy. Like, you can choose to do something or not to do something as far as like FSC, right? But I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, you know, like, it would have been pretty cool, right? Because like I said in the message that he read out, I make similar content to what they're doing, you know, truck repairs, showing what's going on in the trucking world. It's not all reactive content or whatever, you know? So it was kind of like, well, you know, okay, it is what it is, right? But that's why I figured, you know what, I'm going to make this video to just get the story out there straight, right? Like, I would probably say the most that I've done reactive videos on has been Just Trucking. And again, if you go to Just Trucking's reactive videos from my playlist, you're never gonna find me talking about his family or insulting the guy. I keep it just about trucking, you know? Like, one of the videos that comes from the top of my head is whenever he was telling his story about something that was going on with the broker, he was putting out the broker's information online. And you know what I mean? And from my perspective, it was like, well, go ahead and tell your story, but you don't need to like put the personal information of the broker out there, because it had company names, cell phone numbers, office numbers, and all that stuff. So from my perspective, I was like, maybe that guy doesn't want that out, right? Like, you don't need to include that stuff to give your story on things, right? Things like that is what I've reacted to with Gentry Sons or whatever, right? Him holding the phone while you're rolling down the road. We as truck drivers all know that that's a no-no in the industry, right? So it was just reacting to what he was putting out there on the internet and saying like, hey man, like, that might not be a good idea because you're incriminating yourself. And again, if you go watch that video where I did that video on Gentry Sons, I kept it clean. You know, I even said, hey, like, I like your channel. Like, I think you do pretty good content. Just don't incriminate yourself, right? Like, that was just my 2 cents, right? But it's just kind of one of those things where I kind of feel like I just, you know, and I'm not up in my feelings or whatever for all of you guys, keyboard warriors that are going to be down there, you know, like, oh, you got your feelings hurt or whatever, Gabe. Like, it's all good and groovy, right? But I just wanted to give my 2 cents on what had happened there, and to let these guys know, like, all these guys know, like, I have no beef with anybody. Like, I'm just reacting to the content that they put up, and I keep it clean. I keep it clean, and I keep it just about trucking. And you know, because there's other content creators out there that do reaction content that go on the personal level. You know, there was a whole bunch of stuff going on with Gentry Sons and the Elite podcast, where a lot of information got brought up, you know, because of rumors or whatever of his wife and all that stuff. See, like, I didn't touch none of that stuff because it wasn't about trucking. You know, I just wanted to just keep it about trucking. But for those of you guys who don't know my channel, this might be the first time that you're watching my channel. The goal of my channel is you know, to just basically show my journey, you know, show my journey on trucking. I've been truck driving 19 years. 11 of those years has been as an owner operator, driver slash mechanic. You know, I do all my own work. You know, I promote a shop that my brother's shop that he uses down there in Tyler, Texas, and stuff like that. And, you know, I try to show my journey, and maybe somebody can learn something from me, or somebody can teach me something through the comments, right? I want to create a network of people, whether you're a truck driver or not, to where we could all help each other out, right? It might be a driver that's, hey man, I'm having emission problems, you know, this thing doesn't want to regen or whatever. And maybe I know the answer, or maybe somebody within the community knows the answer that can help that driver out, right? You know, maybe someday get some sort of sponsorship, you know, like Gentry has it, or FSC, you know, like with 4 states or whatever, right? To where you can get some sort of coupon code, and hey, you can get parts with these guys, use this discount code, and it's a little discount, right? Especially right now, with times are tough right now with trucking, the rates being horrible. It's hard to make money out there, right? So that's the initial goal of the channel, was to be able to grow a big community that we can help each other out, right? But I kind of feel like I've kind of gotten like mixed up to where the internet is kind of like, you know, well, this guy knows Trucking Unfiltered, so he's a piece of crap. You know what I mean? Like, from my perspective, I've never met the guy, right? I've only talked to him on the phone and stuff like that. He seems to be, he's very different on the phone than the way he is on the internet. And that's not to say that he's being fake on the internet, right? He gives his reactions, you know, hence the name Unfiltered, right? But from what I've gotten to know about him, like, he seems to be like an okay guy. And like I said, there's more to the story on that guy, with everything that's going around, with everything that Elite's doing, and all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes, and all the drama that I actually know the truth about. But, you know, there is something called, I consider him my friend. And when I'm friends with somebody and somebody tells me something like, it's only for you, Gabe, I don't divulge no information. I'm loyal to that person if I consider him a friend, you know? Like, he's not a great friend that I've known for years and years and years. Like I said, I've never met the guy. But I do know more of his story, and there's just more to the story. That's pretty much, that's all to say about that, right? But I kind of felt like I wanted to make this video and put that particular piece in there where Steve was reading my message or whatever, because, you know, my hope was that, hey, maybe he'll like the channel or whatever, see what it's actually about, and maybe he'll give me a shout out. For those of you guys who don't do YouTube or whatever, when a bigger channel gives you a shout out, you usually tend to get more traffic. Don't believe me? Go watch Crystal Miller's channel. Gentry and FSC shouted her out, promoted her channel, and within days, guys, she was 8,000-9,000 subscribers. And I like what they all do. Like, Gentry just showed a video of giving a Escalade to his, I think it was an Escalade, but it was a nice car, right? Giving it to his wife. He was showing his badass new trailer out, you know, a very expensive trailer. Like, that's so cool, man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have nothing against these guys. Like, it's awesome that they've been able to build their channels the way they have. With FSC, man, I've been watching your channel even before I even started doing YouTube. I would probably have to say that my hat's off to you when you do multicam editing. That is so cool. Like, that's really where I want to eventually get to be able to get more cameras and stuff. And I'm still learning, you know, I'm still learning YouTube every day, because there's just so much to it, and particular when it comes to when editing and stuff. And I think Steve is probably one of the best editors in the trucking space, right, that I've seen when he does multicam, you know, when he changes it to the top or the sides or whatever, you know. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where I'm coming from, guys, when it comes to my channel or whatever. I personally think that I put good content out there. I would probably say that 95% of the content that I put out there is positive. Gentry, you did say once to Tommy, because he told me, like, positivity will get you in better places, man. And I try to go that way, and it's not getting me anywhere. So maybe negativity will, but no. That's really where I want to be at, is in the positive space, but I want to be in the positive space of trucking, but I also want to be real, and sometimes the trucking industry is crap. It's a lot of BS, a lot of things that go unseen. And everybody who's driving a truck knows exactly what I'm talking about, dealing with other drivers, dealing with shippers and receivers, dealing with brokers, dealing with dispatchers, dealing with your boss. There's so much crap with law enforcement, there's so many things that goes behind the scenes that I want to just put it out there the way it is. You know what I mean? Like the actual life of being a truck driver out here, out on the road, like the way it is, unfiltered. You know what I mean? But that's pretty much what I got for this video today, guys. I would probably say that most of you guys probably don't. Maybe you do, or maybe you don't know these other YouTubers or whatever. But I kind of just wanted to say my 2 cents about that video that you guys saw in Steve's live. And it's just kind of like, judge a person by either knowing them or the type of content that they put out, right? And like I said, and all my reaction content, I keep it clean, I guess professional, you can kind of say. I try to just talk about just the trucking stuff. And just because I know Tommy from Trucking Unfiltered doesn't necessarily make me a bad guy. Like I said, you could know somebody, you could agree to disagree in a lot of different topics, but you could still be friends, right? Unfortunately, in the world that we live in today, sometimes it just doesn't, what's the word I'm looking for? It just doesn't, I guess, appear that way. You know what I mean? Like it's not socially acceptable or whatever, just because you know that guy. You know what I mean? But anyhow, guys, that's pretty much what I have for you guys today. Go check out my reactions tab, specifically because this is a reaction video. And tell me down in the comments if you think I'm right, if you think I'm wrong, if you think I'm being too unfair, if you think I'm being hard on them, if I'm taking it away from context, away from trucking. And go check out my vlogs. I got a whole bunch of repair videos where I just do repairs on my own truck, right? Trying to save some money. And if that's something that can help you save a little bit of money, or if you have a better way of me doing it, comment it down below. But that's pretty much what I got to say, guys. You guys have a great rest of your day. Peace out.
Like, share, and subscribe.